Someone somewhere, about 5,500 years ago, looked at a heavy rock, looked at a log, looked at the rock again and thought, what if I just didn't carry this? That one lazy moment arguably changed everything. We build cars, trains, turbines, and entire cities because one human got tired. Let's talk about that. Before the wheel existed, moving anything heavy was a full-body punishment. Imagine trying to drag a 200-kilogram stone block across dry ground. No wheels, no carts, just you, your back, and bad decisions. Early humans used sleds, ropes, and sheer group effort, and for thousands of years that was actually fine. They weren't building skyscrapers. They were moving food, animal hides, and occasionally each other. But somewhere around 3,500 BCE, in a region we now call Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, something shifted. Here's the part that surprises almost everyone. The wheel was not invented for transportation first. The earliest wheels we have evidence of were potter's wheels, spinning platforms used to shape clay. Potters figured out that if you spin wet clay on a rotating disc, you can shape it much faster and more evenly than by hand. This was happening around 3,500 BCE. The idea of putting a wheel under something and rolling it came after that. It was roughly a few hundred years later. So technically, your morning coffee mug is a descendant of the oldest wheel technology. You're welcome. No single person invented the wheel. That's not a satisfying answer, but it's the honest one. What archaeologists believe is that the concept emerged independently in multiple places: Mesopotamia, the Eurasian steppes, and possibly parts of Europe, all around similar time periods. The oldest direct evidence of a wheeled vehicle is a clay tablet found in Poland and a clay model found in the region of modern-day Slovakia and Ukraine, both dating to around 3,500 to 3,350 BCE. There's also a pictograph from Mesopotamia showing what looks like a sledge on wheels from around the same period. So it wasn't one genius. It was multiple people, in multiple places, solving the same problem at roughly the same time in history. This is the question people rarely ask, but it's fascinating. Humans have existed for roughly 300,000 years. We were making tools, fire, and complex weapons for tens of thousands of years before the wheel showed up. So why did it take so long? A few reasons. First, terrain. Wheels are actually terrible on rough, uneven ground. If you live in dense forests, mountains, or jungle, a wheel is nearly useless. Early human settlements were often in places where dragging things on flat sleds was more practical. Second, you need more than just a wheel. You need an axle. The hard part wasn't carving a circle. The hard part was figuring out how to attach a rotating wheel to a fixed frame in a way that actually moves smoothly. That's a surprisingly complex engineering problem. Third, you need the right materials. Early wheels were solid wood discs. Finding wood wide enough, dense enough, and workable enough took time and the right geography. Let's spend a moment on the axle because it does not get nearly enough credit. A wheel sitting on the ground just spins in place. Useless. For a wheel to actually move something, you need an axle, a rod that connects two wheels and holds the load above them. The wheel and the axle have to work together, but here's the tricky part. They can't be rigidly attached to each other or to the cart frame in the same way. Either the wheel rotates around a fixed axle, or the axle rotates with the wheel inside fixed holders. Getting that relationship right, that's the actual invention. The first axles were likely wooden pegs. Simple, but it worked. And once it worked, everything changed fast. Once wheeled carts started appearing, the effects were fast and massive. Farming became dramatically more productive. You could now move grain, animals, and supplies across longer distances without destroying your workforce. Trade networks expanded, settlements grew, armies became more mobile, wheeled chariots started showing up in warfare around 2000 BCE in the Near East, and they genuinely changed how battles were fought for centuries. The wheel didn't just help humans move things, it fundamentally changed how human civilization was organized. Cities grew larger because food and goods could be transported in volume. Specialization became possible. You didn't need everyone farming if wheels could bring food from the fields efficiently. Something interesting happens when you look at world history through the lens of the wheel. In Europe and Asia, wheeled transport spread quickly, but in the Americas, the Aztec, Maya, and Inca civilizations, the wheel was never used for transportation. Even though these civilizations were incredibly sophisticated in other ways, they built massive structures, developed astronomy, and ran complex empires. The Maya actually understood the concept of the wheel. Archaeologists found wheeled toys in Mesoamerica, but they never scaled it up for transport. Why? Most historians point to geography again, steep mountain terrain, and the lack of large domesticated animals like horses or oxen to pull wheeled vehicles. A wheel with no animal to pull it is a lot less useful. The first wheels were solid wooden discs, heavy, slow, and prone to cracking. Around 2000 BCE, someone figured out that you could cut out sections of the wheel to make it lighter without losing much structural strength. This gave us the spoked wheel, which you'd still recognize today on a bicycle. Spoked wheels were a game changer for speed. Chariots using spoked wheels could move dramatically faster than those with solid disc wheels. By the Iron Age, around 800 to 500 BCE, metal rims started appearing on wheels, making them more durable on hard roads. The Romans then built paved roads specifically designed for wheeled transport, and suddenly you had an entire infrastructure built around this one invention. Jump forward a couple thousand years and you have pneumatic tires, ball bearings, and gear system, all descendants of that first spinning wooden disc someone carved in ancient Mesopotamia. Here's what's worth sitting with. The wheel wasn't just a tool. It was a way of thinking. The idea that you could reduce friction, work smarter instead of harder, and use physics to your advantage. That same logic is behind every gear, every engine, every turbine spinning inside a power plant right now. The wheel didn't just move objects. It moved civilization forward, slowly, then all at once. And it all started because someone was tired of carrying heavy things. Honestly, relatable. So next time you're in a car, riding a bicycle, or watching a loading spinner on your screen, remember, you're looking at a 5,500-year-old idea that's still running the world. If you found this interesting, drop a comment with something that surprised you. And if there's another "How did humans figure that out" topic you want covered, let us know. See you in the next one.